What happens in Vegas doesn't stay in Vegas anymore. My name is Nick McMillan. I'm one of the managing partners at the Golden Steer Steakhouse. The Golden Steer Steakhouse is the oldest steakhouse in the Las Vegas Strip. It's been in the same location on Sahara Avenue for over 6 decades. Today we're going to be going over the pre-sear method for cooking your steaks. So before we go any further, let's get our oven set to 425 degrees. We're almost ready to cook. We just have one critical step, which is our prep step, or as we call in the kitchen, mise en place, which is just a fancy French term for things in place. We want to make sure that we get all of our utensils, all of our food ready to rock within arm's length so that we're not scrambling looking for things as we're cooking. So a couple things that we're going to need. Let's go ahead and grab ourselves a pair of tongs for flipping our steaks. Our finishing trio, so Sergio seasoning, the au jus, the maitre d' butter, and a spoon for putting those on the steaks. Let's go ahead and grab a skillet. The choice of skillet for us today is going to be a cast iron skillet. We love the cast iron because it retains its heat very well, even after it's taken off its heat source. And it heats very evenly, so you're not going to get cold or hot spots in your pan. If you don't have a cast iron skillet, that's absolutely fine. Feel free to use a stainless steel skillet. You can even use a non-stick skillet. You just want to make sure that your handle is oven safe, because we're going to put the whole skillet right in the oven. So that's of course why the handle needs to be oven safe. Next, let's go ahead and get the oven on. We want it to start preheating. We want to set it to 425. Give it 5 or 10 minutes so it can really come up to temperature. Last, our steaks. They've been out of the refrigerator for about 30 minutes. This is allowing the steak to come to room temperature, which you really want because it will promote even cooking throughout the entire cut of steak, including both the ribeye and of course the fillet. Our mise en place is done, the prep is done. It's time to get cooking. Let's talk a little bit about how we're going to cook our steaks today. So the Golden Steer, we cook them on a commercial broiler. It's fabulous. There's a tremendous amount of heat. It cooks from the top of the steak, and you don't get any flare-ups. It's of course really hard to get access to a commercial broiler at home, so we are using what we've taken to calling the pre-sear method today. It's a fabulous way to cook a steak. You could also cook other proteins, chicken or pork, this way as well. It's a great alternative to the grill. I of course love to cook on a grill as well. But sometimes it's either too hot here in Las Vegas, too cold in other parts of the country, or you just don't have access to a grill. So the way that we're going to do it is we're going to start the steaks on the stovetop. We're going to get a pan white hot, start it on the stove, sear it for 4 to 4.5 minutes, and then we're going to put the whole pan in the oven. And then we'll leave it in the oven for a varying amount of time depending on what you're looking for the temperature of the steak. So first things first, let's go ahead. We're going to pop on our skillet with high heat. We want to get this pan as white hot as possible, because we want to get a great sear. We want to get a great crust on this steak, because that steak, the crust of the steak will have a beautiful texture contrast to the interior kind of tenderness of the cut. All right, so we're going to add some oil, some cooking fat to our pan. It was on the stove for about 4 to 4.5 minutes. You can see, of course, that it's smoking, so the pan was hot enough. We're using a blend of canola oil and olive oil, so it'll really help raise that smoke point a little bit. We're trying to limit the amount of smoke, of course. But if you're looking for special effects, or you're looking to impress the crowd, feel free to use a lower smoke point oil like olive oil. Otherwise, if you want the higher smoke point, you could use even something like avocado oil. So this is smoking. You might see some ripples on the oil. That means that we're ready to season our steak and pop it in. Our pan, our oil are hot enough, so it's time to season our steaks. We of course are going to use Sergio seasoning. We're going to season the first side, and then we're going to put that seasoned side down first. That's the side that's going to sear, so that the unseasoned side is face up and we can season the other side. So we season our first side. Beef is one of those proteins that can take a ton of salt, so feel free to be as liberal as you'd like. We've seasoned one side. We're going to go ahead, we're going to put that seasoned side down first. Make sure you set it down in the pan away from you, so if there's any splattering, it's going to go towards your backsplash and not towards you. You can hear that beautiful sizzle. That's absolutely what we're looking for. And again, that seasoned side down first. Beautiful. Now we're going to go ahead and we're going to season our other side. All right, so we got our steaks in the skillet. We're gonna let them cook on the stovetop, get a great sear for about 4 to 4.5 minutes. Then we're gonna flip them and we're gonna pop them in the oven. And for those 4 to 4.5 minutes, we don't want to disturb them. We want to get a really, really great crust to contrast the texture, the interior tenderness texture of the steak. So we just popped our steaks in the oven. Let's talk a little bit about cooking time. So you notice that the filet was a little thicker than your ribeye. So that means it's gonna take longer to cook. So it's gonna take about 3 more minutes to cook than your ribeye will. So we're gonna show a temperature guide on screen. It'll tell you how long that you should leave your steaks in there. And remember to just add 3 minutes for your fillets. So go ahead, set a timer for the temperature range that you're looking for. So if you're looking for mid-rare, maybe set it for 7 to 7.5 minutes. Then the filet will take 10 to 10.5. And so with that, set your timer. We're gonna do a quick demo on how we finish our steaks with the finishing trio. So our finishing trio includes Sergio seasoning, which we've already seen and used, and also our au jus and our maitre d' butter. We make both of those in-house. So the maitre d' butter, we start with a cow's milk based butter. Then we add in probably 60 or 70 heads of roasted garlic, the juice of 4 to 5 lemons, and an assortment of herbs. We mix that all together and let it firm up. For the au jus, also made in-house. We take the trimmings from all of that hand cutting of the beef that we do. We throw it in a big stock pot with water, herbs. We let that reduce down in the kitchen for 4 to 5 hours. It's a beautiful, beautiful final touch to your steaks. So let's talk about how to put these two together on your steaks. So first, of course, we want our au jus to be hot. So go ahead, a quick way to do it so you don't have to dirty another pan and add more dishes is just throw the au jus in a coffee cup, pop it in the microwave for 30 or 35 seconds. It'll be the perfect temperature. All right, so now we've got our au jus hot. We have our butter, let's finish them off. So what I like to do is I like to put 2 dollops of the butter right on top of the steak and then finish it off with just a drizzle or 2 of our au jus. The warmth and the heat from the au jus is gonna be perfect for warming up that butter and helping it melt down just a little bit, so it's fabulous on every bite. The final step, of course, grab yourself a glass of wine or a cocktail, sit down and enjoy the best steaks on earth.